Alright everyone, I'm back. Just like I told you, I'm back like another day, and like I'm gonna have another video coming out in a few days. So, no more once a week kind of videos that I've been putting out. That's all fine. And I think that, like, okay, if you want to make videos, you want to do what I'm doing, if you want to do something very similar, you don't have to post every day. You don't have to post every 3 days, every 5 days, every week. You could literally post twice a week or twice a month or whatever it is. Like, okay, your time that you're spending online doesn't have to be constant to love what you're doing. Like, your time on the internet doesn't have to be so relevant to the factor that you're posting daily or the factor that you're even posting weekly. I think that that's kind of absurd because everybody this day and age, they're posting weekly. Some people are literally buying their followers, so like you can't even tell anymore. The only thing that you could tell, like, I would say honestly, the only thing that you could tell is by the value of what somebody's presenting, their worth on what they're doing with their work, okay? If they're going to be spending a long time, if they're going to be doing something quality-wise, then you can kind of tell by that. There's different ways, different forms, what the meaning is of what someone's doing, and that's how you're going to be able to calculate all of that all together. So I guess we understand the whole entire relevant side and how, that doesn't really matter, and like you could kind of just do your own thing as long as you're passionate about something or you like what you're doing, you enjoy what you're doing. There's a purpose there and something behind it, right? But what I really wanted to talk about is, I think that the whole entire future is obviously changing, of course, right? But why is because, also a really good thing that's happening right now that I think a lot of people are avoiding. They're not seeing that it's really a positive thing. And I think that that is the fact that the right is finally flipping the switch on the far left. The far left has been dominating our education system. They've been controlling the MSM. Literally, why do you think the Covington story happened? Why do you think that 100,000 times you have different commentators that are mentioning it? Literally, I think that it's been mentioned in every single video that any commentator on the right is talked about. Maybe not 100,000, but you know what I mean. There is a big chunk of people that have talked about that have talked about other issues too, where the mainstream media all of a sudden they want to dox innocent people, they want to destroy lives. They're used as an instrument or a weapon that is used for evil nowadays. You can see it in our modern day society. You can see it for your own self in your own eyes, and it's becoming really a destructive society, if I, have to say so. The other thing that a lot of people aren't seeing with their own eyes is the fact, I think from the left, the right, the middle, libertarian parties, centrist, everybody, a lot of people aren't realizing that the left has actually destroyed themselves. I'm not even talking about the normal left, I'm talking about the far left. And what I'm talking about mainstream media, I mean, unfortunately, that the far left has got a hold of them, got control of them, they're their own unique little puppets on their hands. That's how it is. The MSM is completely controlled. Has it been controlled like this, I'd say, throughout our whole entire lives? I would say it's a little bit, maybe 60 to 40%, then it went up 70, 80, and 90%, all within about 2 years. And I think that it's gone very crazy. Now, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to do, different things to fix it? I mean, that's a whole entire process. But first, you actually have to understand the problem. That's why we have to talk about this right now. We have to talk about, why is this like that? Why is that like that? And then you can finally get to the other steps to figure out, how to solve the problem. And what exactly is the problem? Well, it's very, very obvious for anybody that I believe has eyes or ears or anything like that, or any sense at all. I mean, you would realize simply that the far left is walking all over the right. They have control over the MSN. They have control over a lot of different politicians and different companies. Look at Ben & Jerry's. Look at the way that they promote. Look at the way that Starbucks promotes and all these other companies under the sun. A lot of people, they're outbought, just like a monopoly board. It's about 90% of the board that's owned by big tech and about 10% by the people. That's what we're dealing with right now, and that's not a good thing. So you bring all the problems from that, from all the people, all the corporations, all the, really twisted individuals all working together, then that creates a very bad chain reaction, and all of a sudden people are suffering from that. Now you know the root of the problem, where it's all beginning from, and why this is even happening in the first place. Now, I think it's been years of the right having to deal with this, and finally they're done. I can see it. I can see it in a lot of different movements that are happening, organizations that are literally blooming right now, the beginning of like almost fall leading into winter. I think that big things are going to happen in 2020. This is my prediction. My prediction is that the right this year is going to flip the switch on the far left. We're going to do it successfully. We're going to do it in, I would say, a very more peaceful manner than anybody's ever done, because we know how to communicate, we know how to change things for the better in a slow process over time. And that's the reason why conservatism is on the rise. It's like, why do you think that more and more Zoomers are wanting to be conservative? It's obviously not just because everybody is left, which I think that that's a big part of it. I think that, you know, Hollywood and the mainstream media and Google, they're trying to push for everybody to think the same, everybody to be like gray globs and act the same and to be, you know, emotionally the same, and that's not going to happen. Therefore, I think that's making the youth revolt a little bit, wanting to be more like the right. So, kind of an excuse for it. Kind of going back to the gray glob, you know, scenario, I was just kind of mentioning how they were trying to make everybody, I'd say like NPCs, we were talking about this before, where people were like, you know, had no emotions or anything like that, just like a video game, just saying what they're supposed to say off script. And I believe that it's not like that. It's kind of, you know, similar, but, you know, one of my very first videos, actually, my very first video that I put on YouTube ever, and like I didn't have it on BitChute, I don't think, because I didn't discover BitChute until like 3 videos later out of like 4 videos when I first started YouTube. Now I have like over 100 something or whatever. But basically, okay, when I was making this video, I was talking about how people were like gray globs, and they're gonna be gray globs as soon as Alex Jones got deleted offline. Why I was saying this is because I really thought that, you know, this would happen. How are people gonna have any emotions? How are they gonna be different from one another? They're obviously all gonna look and act the same. I mean, not look the same, but, you know, act the same. Another thing is that it's not fully my idea. It's something that I actually, you know, kind of thought about. I got it from Butch Hartman, and if you actually watch one of the Fairly Odd episodes where they have like, I don't know, Timmy or whatever, and he's visiting one of the dentist's sons, or he gets like a, you know, little ball, he's playing ball with one of his friends, he goes over the fence, okay? And basically he has to go into that backyard, okay? And Timmy is scared, he has to go back there, and then the dentist's son and the dentist are there, and somehow, some way, they're talking, something happens, and all of a sudden, the whole entire world, like, Timmy just wishes that everybody was, like, the same, and he regrets it. Because when he, like, wishes that everybody is the same, everybody becomes these gray globs, and everything is gray. There's no color anymore, until, I guess, his mom, she's constantly making, you know, cakes that are coming out bad. So originally, before the whole entire world went gray and everybody was gray globs, she'd make like a cake and it would turn gray. Well, apparently she made a cake and it turned pink because she can't make anything. So of course, when it turned pink and it wasn't gray, that's not how it should be, right? It's kind of funny. But he gets his mom's cake, and it's fun. It's like the only thing that stands out in this new society that he wished for, in a gray glob society. He gets the new hat, and it's pink. And he makes a hat out of the baking stuff from his mom. And he makes a little hat, and he puts it on his head, made out of like dough, and it's pink. And he stands out, and he walks around, and he's like, "Hey everybody, da 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 da," and you know, everybody's still the same. But the whole reason why I'm like mentioning Timmy, everybody being the same, NPC, you know, gray globs and all that in our society, is because the far left has, you know, unintentionally, I would say, invented that. I wouldn't say that everybody had an intentional purpose of making everybody the same, but they've done that. They've done that with speech. It's not a visual thing. When you look at people, I'm wearing something different, and the next person can be wearing a green shirt or whatever. I'm not wearing gray. I don't look gray. That's not a realistic thing. That's totally fiction. But when it comes down to what you can say, at least online, it's becoming very identical because you have AI bots that are watching and monitoring every little thing that you say of your speech, even if we had the First Amendment. And also, hate speech apparently is something that exists, but who defines what exactly is hateful? So there's a lot of weird little words that you can't say, where everybody has to say the same exact word or have the same exact vocabulary, and you have all these safe little words that you have to say that you can't say, and it just becomes kind of like what you say is gray. Hate speech is not real. It's a tool used against people in their own society with their government so that they can't further progress their own independence that they have with their government. Now, how am I going to further my independence if I can't even say anything, if I can't even voice anything out and even say what I really think? Obviously, nothing's going to change if I'm going to be continuously restricted of the words that come out of my own mouth and I have to bite my tongue. They were able to use the whole entire hate speech tool on the UK because they didn't have the First Amendment. They didn't have a whole entire law protecting them of their freedom of speech. That's why what happened with Tommy Robinson happened, because there was no freedom in what you can say. Another video that I did in the past is talking about a preacher that was literally arrested because they're hurting other people's feelings for talking about stuff that's in the Bible, and they weren't able to, religiously communicate to tell the public, how they wanted to express their feelings on what their religion was. I thought that was very awful. That was happening to a lot of different preachers, actually. And I mean, that's just the UK. Also in Canada, there's a lot of different restrictions on what you can say and what you can't say. With, Australia, it's also the same way. Now, with America, I don't think it's ever going to be like that. I think that people can talk, all day and night about how they're going to get rid of what we can say, and they're only going to affect the computer for a short time temporarily, because apparently, people, they don't want to deal with that. They're going to grow up. They're going to realize what is going on. And as soon as everybody realizes what's going on, people are going to be angry about it. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy that they've been lied to for the last how many years. And if it keeps going on, it's just going to build up the frustration once everything is revealed to everybody that has been, helping out these different websites, thinking that it's the future and it's cool and it's a good thing and they can trust them, when in reality, they're destroying our country here in America. But the main problem, how we're actually flipping the switch on the far left, is literally by them destroying their own selves. Okay, they are destroying themselves because they're making themselves look absolutely insane by banning all the normal people that are talking out against censorship. And I'm not going to say, normal people, but I would say the ones that aren't screaming up and down and freaking out about everything. I think that James also did a really good video where he's talking about this actually a few different times in some of his recent videos. If you want to go look back, if you want to go and BitChute, you're going to be able to go see that. It's a little bit hard to get to his channel for some reason, but you need to just go to James Allsup. You might have to type that together as one or maybe with a space, and then after you'll be able to find that on BitChute. Now, in one of his videos, he was talking about how they're going after people that are more normal, that aren't wearing red, white, and blue, and aren't screaming about, the Democratic Party, what they're doing, and, being like, oh, Alexandria Cortez, and just, freaking out, right? I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but, that Graham guy or whatever it is, okay, he's constantly yelling at the camera, and that's fine. People, you can yell, you can be quiet, you can whisper, you can do whatever you want. But I think that, honestly, when, you have the conservatives wearing the MAGA hat, red, white, and blue, and they're just screaming and stuff like that, people, they are going to think of us a certain different way. That's not bad. Wear your hat. Be proud of that. Be proud of your shirt. Be proud of every single little thing that you want to wear. That's okay. I just think that they're going after people more like, you know, James Allsup or someone like me, like not even like me, but someone like me literally could be targeted, because I don't think that necessarily I am constantly, you know, wearing that attire. I just kind of dress normally. Same like Tim Pool, Sticks, you know, all kinds of different people that are, you know, kind of like that. You know, you got Heeds, like there's a lot of different individuals that I feel like they're not kind of, you know, acting like that. So then they can be targeted, because then they don't want to see that normal people are conservative, of course. They want to be like, everybody is far left, everybody is, you know, liberal. On that note, though, I kind of wanted to wrap up everything and say that, you know, there's a lot of hope for the future. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just, you know, doing that to make a video out of nothing. I really do believe this. I really do believe that our future is changing, that people are starting to wake up from both sides. I mean, obviously from the right, because they can see it a little bit more, I would say. But I would say that people from the left, they're waking up. They're realizing that, hey, this is wrong. People should be able to say what they want to say, and our country is free. And they're completely liberated by that whole entire statement. I think that that's a really good thing in our society that I see. And I'm really proud of the left for, you know, kind of realizing that. But anyways, though, it's been a really good talk, and I'm going to have another video coming very shortly. If you want to donate and support this channel, you can go to my PayPal down below at Living Capone, or my Subscribe star at Living Capone, and I'll check you next time.